A very warm welcome to each of our participants today. Looking forward to your interactions and your insights as well. So here's a quick agenda of what we intend covering today. A quick overview of microlearning, and then we look at the five most popular formats for microlearning, and um, each of them has their own unique strengths and functionality. So we'll go through each of these and we'll see what we mean by, which format is ideal for immersing and captivating, which format is ideal for illustrating something, content with impact, and so on. So let me dive right into the session. Now, the whole focus is really on microlearning, although it's not something new. I'm sure all of us can recall in the last week itself how we probably went through some microlearning at our point of need. So really, microlearning is a very flexible format which allows us to provide learning to learners at their moment of need. So basically, when they need it, where they need it, and just in time. So by lending itself to being able to do all of these, uh, it's a very powerful solution which ensures that because learners can have access to that solution, right, when they're receptive and wanting to do something with it, it is available. And thereby the adoption is greater and the end result being that it accelerates the time to proficiency. Now, a very quick overview. As I mentioned before, it's a very flexible approach which can be really used in many ways to not just enhance the individual performance, but the entire organization performance as well as individuals gain the required skills and competence. And as the word indicates, micro, it's small, focused on just one objective. The emphasis continues to be on learning as with any other learning initiative. So the emphasis is on acquisition of new knowledge, skills, and abilities. And the outcome is again the same for any learning initiative. The outcome is that of performance. So it should be able to generate the desired results. Now, there are certain things we need to keep in mind before we dive into deciding that microlearning is the format for my training requirement. Now, the first step is, of course, being aware of what are the desired organizational results, what are the outcomes the business is aiming for, to sell more, to bring down customer complaints by X percentage, whatever be it, to be able to clearly identify the desired outcomes and thereby benchmark the desired performance. What is it you want every employee to be able to do so that they can they can achieve the outcome that the business is aiming at? And from the desired performance, you have your specific performance-based learning objectives. And it's only once we do this groundwork with the due diligence that it deserves, can we really zero in on the format or the form. So just a quick thing to keep in mind, the form follows the function and not the other way around. One of the reasons why microlearning is really so popular is because it fits very well in the larger strategic learning framework. So here's a very simplified visual of the learning process. Starts with making the learner aware, making them receptive and ready for the learning, grabbing their attention, giving them a chance to connect the dots by helping them recall what they already know about a topic, then informing them, then showing them maybe a demo, then giving them a chance to try this newly acquired knowledge or skill, giving them feedback on their try, throwing thought-provoking questions at them to make them think and for them to internalize the learning, and then assessing them, rewarding them, and then ongoing coaching to make sure that the learners always are going up the learning curve. And then finally, performance support, where you can reinforce the learner's learning. Now, learning is a journey. Now, the reason why microlearning fits very well in the strategic learning framework is that it can be used beautifully at various points in the learning journey. Before an actual training event, and if the training itself is a series of solutions, something like a blended learning journey, then micro learning fits very well at strategic points in that journey. And then after the event, after the training, as performance support. So this is one of the reasons why I think microlearning is increasingly popular. One of the biggest advantages of microlearning is that we can use it to beat the forgetting curve. Now, this is the forgetting curve by Ebbinghaus, which says that, as you can see, the retention of knowledge rapidly decreases over time. So within as few as 5 days, we retain only 33% of what we have learned. Now that doesn't that's a very natural thing to happen in any learning process, which is why it is all the more important for us to supplement to support that learning and make sure that learners don't slide down that forgetting curve. And this is where microlearning really plays a big role because it gives you opportunities to keep engaging with the learner, keep refreshing their learning, and with the results being that there is increased proficiency, increased engagement because the format is so easy to relate to engage with, and the final outcome being increased knowledge retention. So some types of solutions are, you can have standalone animations, you can have flip books or digital flashcards, concepts and process maps in the form of infographics. You can have even podcasts, which can serve as micro learnings, whiteboard animations, quizzes. Standalone quizzes are a hugely popular format. You can have micro learning games, infographics, I believe that's already been mentioned in chat, videos, simulations. So all of these formats are available for us. And some examples of what some of them are suitable for are here. So to show a process, to help learners learn a process, an infographic is very effective. For a sales pitch or troubleshooting, videos are very popular also because of one thing we need to keep in mind is not just the content but also the audience. So I believe Tim mentioned that videos for sales. Yes, that's a hot favorite. Software training, of course, simulations for compliance training, quizzes work very well, and product training, digital flipbooks and flashcards. Now let's dive into the first format that I'm going to cover today, which is how do you immerse and captivate your audience with this, and what is the format? For those of you who may have guessed, it's videos. Now let's see what really makes video-based videos so popular. I'd like to share some statistics here, which really highlight the role of videos in today's digital age. There is 1 billion hours of daily content consumption on YouTube. So that's a mind-boggling figure. And this is on a daily basis. Another stat says that this is as per a training industry report, 88% of companies use video-based training already. And this number is only likely to keep going up with every year. Now, research by 3M Corporation shows that the brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. So that's again a startling figure there. Although we instinctively and intuitively know it, research is backed by research as well. And according to Forrester research, employees are 75% more likely to watch a video than to go through a lengthy e-learning or documents or web articles. Now, microlearning videos, what makes them so popular? A, you can create very compelling content which engages and draws in learners. And they are especially great for storytelling techniques and replicating real-world scenarios. If you think of videos, a lot of us love watching movies. Now, videos can be seen in some sense as long movies. And microlearning videos are very short videos which give you that same kind of engaging experience if designed well. And because they really have the capacity to draw in and engage a learner, there is better knowledge retention. And they are highly versatile because there are all kinds of videos out there. I'll touch upon them shortly. Now, coming to the tools that we use to create videos, microlearning videos, the non-AI based tools are I've listed two of them, which we use very extensively, video and flex clip. Now, AI has changed the game altogether. So we have some very popular AI-based video tools as well. Beyond Go and Synthesia are two of them. And now, there are all kinds of videos. There's no one homogeneous, kind of a definition. And which is why this format is so versatile. You have explainer videos, which can be used to teach a concept. That could be simple, that could be complex. You have how-to videos, which really break down information in a step-by-step process. You have demo videos, very popular for showcasing products or services in action. And then, of course, there are the simulation videos used to explain train learners on a software or a tool. And interactive videos, another very effective format, are used to help learners learn by interacting with the content in the video itself. So while some may say that videos can be slightly passive viewing experience, um, the level of engagement we can provide can really overcome the limitations of that. And with interactive videos, you give the learners a chance to interact with the content itself. So there's a clip, there is something there for the learner to do, perhaps a quick knowledge check, and then the video is resumed. So these are some of the types of microlearning videos that we can leverage very effectively. I'd like to just take a few seconds to run this very visually compelling sample of a video that was used creating AI. Right. So that was one fun sample of AI-based videos. Of course, this one was used in advertising. Thankfully, we are not called upon to create content like this in L&D. However, with AI-based video tools, the the limits are of creativity. And that's something very heartening. Now, I'd like to just quickly run you through this sample of designing videos using Beyond Go, which is a very popular tool. So
let's see how to create a video using Beyond Go.
Here we go.
Get started by selecting Beyond Go from the Create a Video option in the dashboard. All we need to do now is share the topic of the video and select the preferred vibe, format, and layout. Each layout has several characters in different poses and locations, which we can pick from. The sample covers the topic training sales teams on negotiation skills with a formal vibe. The video is going to provide an overview of the topic through a conversational setup. We are now ready to create this video. In a fraction of seconds, Beyond Go generates the script and video, ready for use. The script and video are completely editable. You can tweak the characters, positions, dialogues, add your proprietary content, and customize them. The final step is to download the file in the MP4 format. It's simple, easy to create, time-saving, and creative.
Negotiation skills are essential in sales, don't you think?
Absolutely. It can make a significant difference in closing deals and generating revenue. And ask open-ended questions to find out needs. Just about getting what you
So
want.
that was a quick look at how easy it is to generate and design videos using this popular tool, Beyond Go.
Let's see how to create a video using.
Now, I'd like to also touch upon Synthesia, another very popular tool for videos, which gives an entirely different look and feel from that of Beyond Go.
There are 3 options to create a new video using Synthesia. We can get started with a blank canvas, generate an AI-based video, or import a PowerPoint deck. To generate an AI-based video, input the topic and the audience profile. You can also share additional information such as the preferred language, context, objective, persona, and tone using the Add More option. The sample covers the topic training sales teams on negotiation skills in a professional tone. Now it's time to generate video. Synthesia provides the AI-generated script in a few seconds. We can continue in editor to customize the video. You can totally customize the video, change the layout, avatar, background music, add your logo, change content, and more. Once you customize, all that's needed now is to download the file and use it.
Good day, team. Today, we're going to focus on a critical aspect of our job.
So as you can see, these AI-based tools do all the heavy lifting for you. And that really helps bring in a lot of rapid, to speed up the design and development process. Now let's look at where can videos be used. So if you look at the broad framework of the different training types that we have, training requirements that come up, I think we can roughly divide them into training to do with selling more, which includes your marketing and sales, your service and support, improving efficiencies, which includes your process training, and these other trainings which are role based, or which could be leadership manager training, or the ones which are very specific, generic, and focus on general core competencies like personal productivity. And then of course you have the compliance training, which is a different bucket. From our experience, we found that videos are very effective, highly effective in both of these first two slots: marketing, sales, service support, um, end user training, role based trainings. Now, this is not to say that videos can't be used in compliance. However, that would be a little bit of an overkill, and also there is a far more effective format available for doing training on compliance, and that is scenario based e-learning. So I would say that I would recommend that videos are ideally applied in these areas. Now, coming to the next popular format, illustrating with impact. So do take a guess at what it is, and let's see what this format is all about. Infographics. Now, I think infographics are all over. You walk into a doctor's waiting room, you sit there waiting your turn, you see infographics plastered on the wall. And it's so easy to just go through them and really retain so much in those few seconds that you took to just go through it. So we've all seen the power of infographics. And in training, it is even better. See, these are great because they are also visually compelling. they're great for engaging distracted learners, especially learners who don't have the luxury of, spending a lot of time on going through something in great detail. They want at a glance to know the gist of something, maybe a process. And they can also provide a step-by-step guidance for tasks, and they can be used to simplify complex ideas and also, uh, you know, uh, illustrate abstract ideas through analogies. And they serve as a very, not just as a teaching resource and not just as a training resource, but also as a convenient job aid. And some popular tools for using for generating infographics are, um, I'd like to touch upon Canva, which is partially AI based. And then you have the regular tools like Photoshop and Illustrator. And then we have interesting AI based tools for generating graphics, which can be a part of your larger infographic. So we have Mid-Journey, Stability AI, which come up with a great graphics based on the custom prompts that you feed in. And then we have Lectopus AI, which creates very visual, beautiful visual presentations. Now, I won't, in the interest of time, I won't run through this video, but just with a custom prompt, you can see what are the different kind of results that this tool can generate. So here you see 4 possibilities. It gives you options. So this is a portrait of a group of creatives in an office. And you can tweak the prompts, you can feed in very specific requirements, and it does it all for you. So Midjourney is a very popular, hugely popular tool which can be used. Now, coming to the application. So where do you think infographics can be really applied? I think they are again a very versatile format and can fit all across this wide range of training types, including compliance, data privacy, information security, a powerful infographic posted on, not just as a soft copy, but also a printout posted on the cubicle wall serves as a great reminder. Now, the only 2 places where I would say that infographics are really not very effective is when it comes to software training, because as our experience has shown us, I mean, nothing can beat simulations for software trainings. So that's a little bit about the infographics. So let's look at what is this microlearning format that helps learners to scroll, click, and engage with the content. Microlearning PDFs. So as you can see in this small example here, you have tabs on the left. The learner can just quickly navigate to their point of need. So content can be divided into manageable chunks so that there is no information overload. And you can also create a very dynamic learning experience by embedding videos, audios, links, forms, which learners can fill out. And these are very popular for another reason. They are a more cost-effective and quicker solution than regular e-learning. And the beauty is that, to create these microlearning iPDFs, you can even create one with PowerPoint. So for simple microlearning iPDFs, PowerPoint works just great. Now, if you want a microlearning iPDF in which, you want to hide content till a learner clicks on something, then the tool of choice that we would recommend would be InDesign, because it doesn't just show everything up there. The learner has to do something in order for that content to be visible in a predefined area. So these are 2 popular tools used for creating microlearning iPDFs. Now, coming to the application part of it, again, you can use them for just about anything to do with marketing and sales, products. That's a great it's a great usage of iPDFs, where you can break it down. The features, the main features can all be arranged in the form of tabs, or the features and benefits and so on can be arranged. Then you have product service, troubleshooting, customer service, all of these. And then, of course, you have your the leadership training, management training, team building, and all those core competencies like personal productivity. Now, the reason I've not selected compliance again is because I think compliance is best dealt with through scenario-based engaging e-learning. Now, also, when it comes to software like CRM, simulations work better. That said, IPDFs also are very versatile and they lend themselves to a variety of to meeting a variety of training needs. Now, coming to the fourth format that I'd like to cover today. I'm sure you can guess what it is based on the wording there. Go for gold. So yes, it is games. You can use microlearning to create to integrate game-based aspects, gamified elements such as rewards, scores, badges, and so on. And each game can be really very short duration. So they provide a highly engaging learning experience because I think regardless of which generation of the workforce you're dealing with, games are usually popular. It's not just Gen Z, which finds it very engaging, but it cuts across generational divides. So they're highly interactive and they spark the curiosity of learners. And because learners are so involved and immersed in the game, there is quicker information processing. And because games have that element of, competition, a friendly competition, and there is this desire, it instills, it kind of motivates learners to want to win. So that again is one of the advantages of using microlearning games. And some popular tools which can be used for creating these are Storyline, Beyond, Go, Kahoot, and I, I I don't know if I have the. Let me just play this. I'll just show you a very quick sample. This is a very simple sample. So let's take a quick look at this very simple game. Okay, so let's choose a persona here. All right. Let me just. You have the instructions, you have the time limit, and the timer ticks the moment you click start. So now here, this is on food safety. So the challenge, the game here is how many of these unsafe items can you identify in this given visual? So let's see. Let's click one and see. So the question, it doesn't immediately tell you what is the problem there, but it gives the learner a chance to guess what is wrong with that. So in this case, it was spilled water on the floor. So there are a couple of options here. So let's see which one of these is correct. And when I click submit, it gives you the feedback on why it is a hazard. And it also gives you a visual indicator of, the danger zone, or is it a safe zone? And with that, you go to the next question. And as you can see, the timer is ticking away and you can see the scores adding up here as you keep proceeding. So with that, I'm just going to toggle back to my screen. Right. Now, where do we apply games? Again, games are very popular, very versatile, highly engaging, and they are especially useful when you're doing marketing and sales related training, especially sales. And in any of these service and support trainings like product service, troubleshooting, customer service. And also, you can use these games when it comes to the softer skills like leadership training, team building, performance management, because it gives a chance to the learner, and the teaching and the feedback can actually, at the end, consolidated feedback can really help in improving the knowledge retention. So these are the main areas where you can use them. I've left out software training because that's dealt with in another microlearning format, that of videos, simulation videos, and compliance again. Of course, you can test, you can use games to test learners across this entire range of trainings, and we will look at that shortly. How you can actually combine aspects of the game-based microlearning, along with testing learners across the board. So with that, I come to the last format for today, which is that of assessments, microlearning assessments. Now, one of the advantages is that of assessments is that not only can you use them for testing, but you can also use them for teaching, for training. So actually, the safety sample that I showed you earlier could fit in either of these categories. It qualifies as a game-based microlearning. It also qualifies as an assessment, because the entire microlearning is based entirely on quizzing the learner to see where they stand and then giving the teaching kind of feedback. So question-based learning and repetition is something which standalone assessments, microlearning assessments, are very effective in uh, fostering. Now, when we talked about the forgetting curve, there's one thing that we can do to make sure that learners don't slip down that curve, and that is to give them spaced retrieval practice. So at regular intervals, keep reinforcing what they've learned. Now that reinforcement can, of course, happen through content, through bite-sized learning in the form, which is purely content-based, but that reinforcement can also happen equally powerfully and sometimes even more effectively through microlearning assessments. So you get a chance to test the knowledge of learners, and through questions which pull them in, and there's teaching feedback which lets them know, why their response is right or wrong, and so on. And you can really create a lot of interesting kind of assessments by, focusing on scenario-based challenges and so on. Now, one of the reasons why microlearning assessments are very powerful is because they can also serve as a motivational tool by giving learners a sense of achievement at having done it, and also a refresher on the content while they are at it. Now, the question here might be that, hey, we already have longer, lengthier assessments, formal exams inbuilt into our longer e-learnings. So that has its place. The assessments that you use within your e-learnings, they have their place. But the beauty of standalone microlearning assessments is that you can keep rolling them out at scheduled intervals. And because you have access to data and analytics, you can also get insights on where are learners faltering. And based on that, take informed content decisions for the road ahead. And some of the popular tools here for generating assessments are QuizBot, which actually is AI based. It generates assessments at based on the learning objective you provide and at the Bloom's level at which you wanted to write that assessment. And then you have Prep AI, another AI based tool. And then you also have popular microlearning platforms like QStream, which help you to use questions as tools for teaching. So let's take a quick look at QuizBot to start with. I'd like to just spend a minute to show you how simple the tool makes the business of creating assessments. This one has no audio. So as you can see, you have multiple choice, true and false, all kinds of formats. And it can generate assessments based on the content that you feed it. The difficulty level can be specified with just a click. And there you have questions with well-designed distractors, and they really take a lot of the heavy load off instructional designers who can always tweak what the tool has generated, because these are not a substitute for a live human who can use this powerfully and leverage it to create meaningful assessments. So that's QuizBot in action. Now, I believe, so this is an example of the microlearning platform. The platform itself is a platform meant for microlearning assessments. There are many platforms there, and this specific one, is based on the concept of pushing out one question at a time at predetermined intervals. So you push out one micro challenge. It could be a scenario-based question. The learner responds to the scenario. There is immediate feedback given to the learner, which serves to reinforce the learning. And there is also a micro explanation provided. And finally, there is a gamified aspect to this, because learners can go and check out how they have fared vis-a-vis their competitors. So that element of friendly competition does a lot to motivate learners and keep the excitement up. Teams can compete for the best scores, learners can compete, and the visibility into the dashboards gives them that much needed boost. And this again works very well for certain audiences, sales in particular. And this is just one example of how there are even microlearning assessment platforms that are available out there, apart from the regular microlearning assessments that we can create, using regular tools, regular authoring tools like Storyline, for instance. Now, when it comes to the application of assessments, I think just about everything that every kind of training needs some kind of we need to provide some kind of an opportunity to learners to test themselves, regardless of which training area they are going through. So I would say that microlearning assessments can be very effective all across the board. Now, another beauty of microlearning assessments is when we have ILT sessions, instructor-led classroom sessions or virtual instructor-led classroom sessions, we can also, it's not feasible for us to test learners sitting in a classroom. That is where we can team up microlearning assessments with a classroom session. After the classroom session, all the learners are given a link to a microlearning assessment, and there you are. You have provided an equal opportunity for everyone to be to see where they stand, to be able to evaluate themselves. And another usage of microlearning assessments is you can use them even before you begin the actual training, to just get a sense of where learners stand. So this is especially useful if you are doing you're trying to measure the impact of the training. So assessment set up before the training, give them a chance to undergo the training, and then test them again. So these are ways in which we can mix and match assessments in various ways. Before we decide on, before we zero in on microlearning as our chosen format for a given training requirement, it's very important to ask ourselves a few questions. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, is to make sure that the due diligence is done. Is the learning objective, the one single specific learning objective that you've narrowed down, is it aligned to the desired performance and the intended outcomes, business outcomes? Then the next question, is the topic or the skill that you're trying to train learners on really suitable? Is it suitable for microlearning? Because one thing I'd like to mention is microlearning is not the solution for every training requirement. In fact, it is best used with a series of different formats. Although there are content areas where it works perfectly well all by itself. Now, the question we need to ask ourselves is, can the content be logically broken down into smaller focus modules? Now, I think for the longest time ever, there was this misconception about microlearning that, microlearning is nothing but just divide up the content. Just break it up into, if you have a 15-minute course, just divide it up into 5-minute chunks. And there you are. That's microlearning. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, can the content really be logically broken down? Because in some instances, you really need the learners to go through the entire content in one go, because it is required to meet that particular performance objective. So here are a few questions that we need to ask ourselves. Does it involve mastering a complex skill? If your answer is yes, I'm sorry, that should be a yes. If it's a very complex skill that requires sustained practice, then maybe microlearning is not the ideal format. Although even complex skills can be broken down into logical chunks, logical bite, and you can have microlearnings for one for each objective. Now, does the content require a significant amount of background information or context? Because in some cases, it makes sense to have the learner go through the entire the learning as it builds on each, as it builds on each of the preceding areas. So sometimes isolated modules, microlearning modules in isolation, may result in fragmented learning. And then another thing to ask is in-depth training or certification required? Because for a lot of these certification types of trainings, it makes more sense to have a longer, lengthier course, especially if it is some area of regulatory compliance training and you have to meet some regulatory standards. So these are some questions we need to ask ourselves. So with that, I come to the end of today's session.